Welcome back, everyone. Well, you know what? It is the season of giving, and for a couple of years now, you know, it's pretty obvious to anyone that watches us that we're all involved with a lot of organizations, especially a lot of nonprofit organizations, and all of us around here play a role in that. So around Christmas time, we've created something called Look Who Cares, where each one of us here decides, hey, that organization that we interviewed, I'm really interested in them. Let's bring them back again to remind everybody about what they do. And there's a person behind that decision. So what we'd like to do is let you know who those people are. So I'd like to introduce my son to you. We planned that. He's not my son. Yeah. Would you like to be?
I wish I was your son. Yeah.
No, you don't. I can tell you that right now. No, you don't. This is Duane Vaughn, who is the news producer here, a musician extraordinaire, and a very good friend of everybody here. So, Drew, it's nice that they get to see you, and you get to see them.
Right.
And also, why'd you pick the United Way?
I picked Tri-County United Way because I think they're important leaders in our community in terms of facilitating funds to the organizations, other organizations that really need money in it to really help bolster the community. I think it's important to have apparent leaders where you can, they will help you funnel the money to organizations, charities that really really need your help.
Well, you know what? You've had a lot of very direct contact with them, and I know that because Drew is the person who's on the phone every day with all of these organizations, lining up the interviews and talking to them about the news stories that we're going to cover. You know, I want to take the opportunity to thank you for that too. Because without Drew, we wouldn't have a daily program.
It's an absolute pleasure talking to these people. It's really nice talking to them because they really do care, and you can tell when you're.
I do. Now, just one quick question before we go to the interview with the United Way. Have you had any personal? Well, you do every day, I guess.
Sure.
Right? You know.
Well,
you have friends.
I know a few people in the community who have donated to Tri-County, but also specifically my connection to them is. We had covered a story recently on the William Barn Intermediate School.
Chairs.
The students, the kids from that school, they made chairs, art sculptures out of these antique chairs, and they donated these chairs online, auction style, to Tri-County, and all the money went to Tri-County. So I thought that was a really nice connection there. So,
well, happy holidays to you, Drew.
Thank you as well.
Thank you so much. And this is Drew Wardle, the face behind the name at Look TV. Thanks, Drew.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. Probably comes no surprise, but before you do an interview, kind of prepare, think about what you're going to say. Well, I first met my guest probably a couple of years ago. We always enjoy each other's company. So in the control room just now, when they said, you're ready to start, I just looked at Duane and I thought, we'll just start. That's probably the easiest way. Yeah. If you start, you're there.
Yeah, we're there.
We're okay, so we started.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Duane Vaughn. And the reason you probably recognize him is he's been on Look before, because for many years, I think 14 years? Right?
14 years, yeah.
Was involved with Waite House in Glens Falls. And recently, Duane took a new position as the executive director for the Tri-County United Way.
Yes.
So first, congratulations on your new position.
Thanks.
I know you and your work from Waite House, and they're very lucky to have you. 3 months in?
3 months in,
Okay.
yes.
Do you know where your desk is yet?
Sort of.
Sort of, okay.
Yeah. Just getting my feet underneath me.
Yeah,
so,
sure, I bet. Now, you've been involved in organizations like the Waite House. You were involved, and I also know you did a lot of volunteer work, with recognizing organizations and people in our communities and their needs. And Duane was telling me before we went on that was the primary reason that you took this position at United Way, is that United Way has this wonderful sort of clearinghouse for collecting funds and volunteers to help various organizations in our community. Now, United Way is a national organization.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Just in case people don't understand the extent or how United Way works, how would you encapsulate what I said?
Well, our United Way in Glens Falls started out as it's a smaller organization that was United Way in 1923.
Yes.
And it was called the Community Chest.
Chest, right.
So eventually it became part of national, part of United Way, and basically it's an avenue where people can donate to an agency that's known, that's a 501c3, that's going to disperse funding to agencies that they're able to look at and they know that they're in need.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm sure many of you feel the same way. Say you want to help distressed teenagers. You know that you have a desire to want to help them. You don't know exactly which organization to go to, what kind of organization they are. Well, if you go to United Way, chances are you've already done the homework on that, can have a conversation with that donor about what you feel would be the best application for their involvement, and then ID those organizations, right?
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if somebody decides to donate to United Way, it doesn't have to necessarily just go to the general fund that supports all the organizations. They can choose organizations that we support. You know, like you said, which we do get people that that may say, you know, I want to help veterans, or I want to help youth, or families in need, or women experiencing domestic violence. You know, we can steer them in all those directions to be able to help.
Now, you have certain goals each year. I know this is new, so I hope this you've got this information. If you don't, we'll find out.
Yeah.
But I remember that the United Way last year was raising close to $750,000, around $700,000, $750,000.
Yep, yeah.
And so now, what do you do when that money comes in? Is there a committee inside the United Way that sort of ascertains where this money is going to go? Do organizations make presentations to you about their needs?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Basically, we have volunteers that come in, and it's called the Allocations Committee. So these volunteers come in, and they're able to go out and visit the agencies that have submitted requests for funding, and also these agencies can come in to the conference rooms at the United Way and present to the Allocations Committee, make their pitch, in other words,
Yeah, got it,
so that
okay.
we can, you know, that everybody can get a really good idea of where their money's going.
Yes, got it. And I think that that's also very important for everyone, that they know that the United Way has, and in a way you're vetting the organizations, not that you're going to uncover anything wrong, but it's just the idea, the more knowledge you have, the more knowledge you can give that person that's willing to give money to try to help a cause. And I know what you mean. I interview a lot of people, Duane, and they focus a lot on those categories that you mentioned. It could be vets, it could be teens in trouble, it could be housing, and of course women in domestic violence situations. Now, we've got end of year giving, right?
Yeah.
And I know I worked at a company once that had this. There's ways for, and I forget the title for it, but a workplace campaign that you can, if you're part of an organization, you can actually have a small amount of money taken out of your check each week. That goes into a pool that the company then presents those funds to the United Way.
Yeah, and that's a great way. And you know, you can actually start your own campaign if you don't have one at your workplace. You know, I'm reminded of a story that I just found out when, you know, Hannaford is a big supporter of United Way, and I believe it's the Greenwich store in Washington County, that there's a part-time 21-year-old deli clerk that takes $10 a week out of his paycheck, and that's amazing. It's an amazing gift.
It is an amazing gift. You have organizations also within the United Way. I think you were telling me about one of the wings or divisions or departments, probably not using the right term here, RSVP, what is that?
Retired and Senior Volunteer Program.
Okay.
So that's where we have about somewhere around 300 volunteers. If someone is 55 or older and they're looking for a new pathway in life, they can give RSVP or United Way a call, and they can come in and we can match that person up to an agency or a job that they would like to do. I mean, one of the things that RSVP does that's amazing is medical transport for people that need it in Warren, Washington County. So it's really a great organization.
You know, as a creative guy, have you ever noticed the United Way logo, their hands like this, right, with a person in the middle of it? It's an iconic logo, and it just really represents what the United Way does. It just says that, you know, in the community here, we're a resource you can come to. If you want to volunteer, if you want to donate funds, if you're a person in need, call the United Way, and they're there with those hands.
Right,
you
right.
know. But boy, what a nice fit for you. You know, spending 14 years at White House like you did, and now moving into this position is really quite quite a nice thing.
Yeah, it
Duane,
really gave
is.
me a good flavor of, you know, I've worked with a lot of these organizations that need this help.
That's right.
And, you know, we've worked side by side, and now I'm at least in a position where I know that I can help them, which has been very gratifying.
Ah, well, congratulations to you. Look, it's a time of giving. The United Way is very easy to find. You can Google it, you can call them up, you can do whatever it is. They need volunteers, they always need volunteers. And they're certainly trying to raise funds, as Duane explained, to be able to help these other smaller organizations in our community that need assistance. And we're going to have an announcement for you rolling into spring. We can't talk about it yet,
That's
but
right.
we do have a pretty exciting thing to talk about. So you got to come back in January
will.
and February. Okay, Duane, happy holidays to you.
Same to you.
Very nice to see you.
Thanks.
All right, to see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.